Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got going today, because honestly, I want to talk about this whole idea, and I kind of alluded to it, of living our legacy. Not leaving a legacy as much as living it today, so that it becomes a part of our story. It becomes a part of who we are. And that when people, talk about us, they're talking about, can you believe she's so great? This is what she does. She's helped me. She's made me see things. She's been a guiding light in this time of darkness. Because we all have the ability to be that. Have you noticed that? We do. Have you ever had somebody come up to you and say, you said something 18 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 minutes ago, it meant something to me. I mean, we should never ever hesitate to be that one to bring a little light and a little sparkle into somebody else's life. When we live from that vantage point, when we live from that place, not only are we giving it out, gosh, we're getting it back. Have you noticed that? We get it back big time when that is the whole way that we do our lives. We stop with the cynical and we put on the joyful. Cynicism, it just destroys everything. Cynicism leads to a life of complaining. Nothing's ever good enough. Can't do it. It's too hard. I live on the struggle bus. The world is against me. All of this garbage. And it's just trash talk in our heads. It's got to go. It's got to go. You want to trash talk something? Trash talk your old habits. Trash talk this old idea that you had about yourself and just say, that's enough. I'm done. Instead, we're going to work into this place of understanding what legacy is and how to live it today. Because leaving a legacy, have you ever watched the show Breaking Bad? We're kind of watching it right now. I've never watched it. Kind of just was like, what's next? It's disturbing. It's disturbing. This man is willing to give up his dignity, his integrity, his everything in order to leave a sum of money for his family because he's got terminal cancer. And the things that he does, the lies that he creates, the world that he is living in, simply because he wants to leave a legacy of money rather than leaving a legacy of dignity and live it daily. That's the most important thing to him. I mean, obviously he's got everything skewed up, but I'm sure you've seen it or have heard about it or whatever, but it really is disturbing. I like things, when I watch something on television, I like entertainment, light things, happy things, because those are the things that I want to embody in my life. I don't want to have the stress of all this. So I'm not sure that I'm really going to continue in it, but it nudged me and made me say, look at, this guy's legacy and how sad and pathetic and horrible of a person he is. And at the core, I don't believe he is. I think he's skewed in his thinking. And don't we all get skewed in our thinking? It's because at the core, we want to live our best lives. We want to give the best that we can to our families, to our friends, to everyone who's around us. But, we think too much about what we're leaving behind and not what we're doing today in the moment. And that's what I want to talk about today. We had in our family, we had our Aunt Sophie, which she was a riot. She was a complete caricature of herself. Aunt Sophie would, she was an older woman. I mean, if she was alive today, she would probably be close to 100. So she had seen some things and she had been through some rough patches, and the daughter of immigrant Russian parents and lots of prejudice, and she was a bigot. She was terrible. She would say things that I would just be like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe you said that. But Aunt Sophie had, I will give you my best Aunt Sophie imitation, but I'd say so, you know, because I knew she had money stashed everywhere, and she had it stashed all over her house. When she passed, everybody had to, you know, they were pulling out stuff, and here's some more money, and it was stashed everywhere. Her legacy and her most important thing that she looked at was, you know, how much money she was going to leave, and what she was going to wear in her coffin, her shroud. I mean, she talked about it all the time, how she wanted to be laid out. And this was all that was going on. In the meantime, you know, she had an acid, wicked tongue. She put down everyone. Everything was just awful, but she was worried about leaving this legacy, simply not about living it. And Aunt Sophie, I said to her one time, I said, you know, Aunt Sophie, why don't you travel? You know, why don't you go and see things? Because I knew she had, you know, she had some cash stash. And she said, for what? To see scenery? I've seen scenery. Which became like a big family joke after a while. Just, you know, Aunt Sophie's seen the scenery. She doesn't want to see scenery anymore. Instead, she just wanted to live her miserable little life. And we can choose miserable. You know, and a lot of times we choose miserable a lot. We make a decision for miserable. We say, that's the way we're going to go because nothing's right. You know, everything in our world is wrong. Let's pick out our shrouds. You know, let's start thinking about, you know, doomsday and horrible things. And the only thing that's important is how much money we're going to leave. And that's just simply not true. Legacy is determined and defined as an inheritance, sure, but also a desire to pass down something that's useful, to carry on, to leave behind a story, leave behind something that is of value. And really, are we going to be these women who say that the only thing of value is money? The only thing of value is what you're going to wear in your coffin? Is really that it? Or do we understand that when we live our legacy, not just leave one behind, but when we live our legacy, what we're doing is touching people's lives. We become purposeful. We become the women that we want to be. And we see the vibrancy in the way that we live our lives, the way that we carry on. Not just leaving it all behind, but actually living it on a day-to-day basis. So how do we do this? How do we live our legacy instead of just leaving one, instead of worrying about what our shroud is going to be about? Well, first things first, we do intentional everything. That's what we do. We intentionally choose our words. We intentionally choose our actions. We intentionally choose the food that we're going to fuel our lives with. We're going to move, how we're going to move, how we're going to hydrate. All of this is going to go into the intentional living that we want to have. Intentional living creates legacy. That's number one. Number two, I say use a journal. We need something to center ourselves. Our journal kind of captures where we are. Our journal helps us to see different things. And if you look back on your journal, you'll see things that help you to say, aha, there you go. That word keeps coming up. And it'll show you the path that you need to go. Meditate on daily. Pray daily. Bring in the things that you want. Start counting the gratitudes in your life. We use our journals. We have Take Back Your Life journal that'll show you how to not just do goals, but to live goals, to plan for goals in your life on the daily, so that you're not just, you know, putting them aside, you're actually living it. And the thing that happens with that is you get the gratitude that creates the appreciation for your life right now today. Because you're going to find something. If you look hard enough, you will find it. We're always seeking evidence for the things that we want to support in our lives. Gratitude is one of those things. And to live a life of unappreciation is to live a life that's hard and cold and meaningless and has no stuff in it. I want a good, abundant, joyful life. I get that by centering myself with gratitude. Number four is this is what is going to give your purpose the light that you need. Because we are all here on purpose to serve others on purpose. That's our purpose, right? How does that show up in your life? Well, I believe if we start with understanding that we're living our legacy, not leaving one, that we are to be gratitude filled, to be purposeful and intentional in all the things that we do, then that is going to come sliding into our life as if it's a miracle, because we are creating the life that it will Absolutely 100%. Got that? The other number 5 is it creates a gift of present. It creates a gift of presence in your life for yourself and for others all around you. Remember, we have a ripple effect. Our words have meaning. Our actions have meaning. And that we're planting little seeds as we say the things that we say to our children. Are we always telling them no? Are we always saying that you're not good enough? What are we doing? How are we doing it? How are we saying and building up and creating lives for our families as well? Lives and love and a legacy of love to our spouses, to our children, to the people around us, in our communities. When we lift others up, we get lifted up ourselves. That's the continuum that we want to be on, not the other stuff. Because legacy, at the end of the day, is the story you're creating for yourself right now. And if you are intentional about it, and if it's present and you're not just reacting to everything, you're instead proactive, you're instead looking for a loving way to say something that might be difficult, you're looking for a way that you can build others up, you're looking for a way to show up and be present in your life with all of those people, all of your folks, guess what? You're going to be accomplishing so much more than most people are in their lives. 95% of us, according to Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief, says that most of us live on just in our subconscious, just going through the motions. Do you want to be living a life that's just going through the motions? Or do you want to be present? Do you want to be active? Living your legacy now. This is a big thing that you can pass to your family, that you can pass to your world, in your work, in everything that you do. Because you're here for a reason, on purpose. And all of this is going to steer you to doing exactly what it is that you should be doing and that you can be doing and that you want to be doing, so that your life has actual meaning in your life and everyone else's as well. It's that simple. We have the opportunity to do this, but it means that we need to live our legacy now, not just leave one. That's all I have for you today. It's just that much is enough. Peace be with you. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.